Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For this cycle, I guess you would call it, I'm going to use the Awaken Tarot. I haven't used this one in a while, but I do like this deck. I think it was created like a group effort because it's got team, I always mess up the name, RYVE, so Reeve. And there's myreeve.com at the bottom if you want to check that out. So that way if you like this deck and you want to check it out, feel free to do so. There's that. The Oracle cards I'm going to be using are Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. Big fan of Sandra. And the website, that's why I got the book out. The websites are, am I on the right one? Yep, there are a bunch of Hay House websites. Feel free to freeze frame and go into any of those you're interested in. Sandra Ann Taylor, I think there's something on the back here too, so I'll show you that. Feel free to freeze frame and check out any of the information. I think there's a website at the bottom, or there's a Hay House Radio link there or something. And the last part is I do use dice. For the major arcana, I use a 22-sided dice. I use 22 as 0 for the Fool, and then, up to 21 is the World. And then I have a 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and then I use a 4-sided dice to choose the element. And Math Art Fun, I think, is what the website is. If I get that close enough, hopefully you can see it. mathartfun.com if you want to find the dice. Alright, I think we're good with that. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and now let's go on to your read. Hello, Libra. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for when you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Libra? So, this energy around you. I'm actually going to fix one of these cards. I just realized that I bet one of my cards. It's the King of Cups you have coming in right here for you. So, even though we don't have the Oracle cards out yet, the environment seems to be changing more than you are, I'm noticing. Did I imagine that this card had a thing on it? Maybe I did. Oh, there it is. Yeah, the World card is showing up in the what do you call it? Environment. Hopefully that works for that. I'm trying to figure out where this is starting, because your start off is the Lover's card, and whatever this originally was, it was what you wanted it to be. You were tied into this situation, but you wanted to be. This is almost like, this doesn't have to be a romantic thing. This could be a work thing. This could be a social environment, whatever. But this could be something where maybe this was a quick marriage to somebody, or you bought property with somebody you wanted to be connected with, or, it was a business partner and you some investments were long-term investments you'd both have to pay off together. Something. In the beginning, you were tied into this and you wanted to be. Not saying that you don't right now, but things might be changing. That's the question mark here. Are things changing, or are things getting deeper? Because there's an environmental change going on here. Something environmental is changing for sure. You got the King of Cups and you got the Queen of Swords. Don't get caught up in the gender, but I'm getting there's a connection with somebody who definitely cares about you, is very invested with you, and you got to kind of step away from it for a second and go, all right, I have my feelings with this situation, but I really need to see it for what it actually is. I need to look at it on paper, kind of take out the emotions and just look at it on paper, and does this make sense? I feel like that's the first part of this. I feel like this is just your natural energy, what you're naturally doing. It's kind of wait a minute. things are kind of going a little different. I'm not really sure about what's going on. I know they care about me. I'm not questioning that, but things are changing here. Something is changing, especially with that world in the environment. Something in this situation is changing. And I keep getting like, I have to step back and I just have to list things out on paper. Like I have to just like list out the facts, and then I have to like let somebody else almost read it and be like, if this was your situation, or like what do you like, just looking at these bare bones, what do you think about that? And it's kind of like I'm trying to make sure that I'm like seeing this in the light that I need to see it in. So I'm stepping back and I'm kind of like trying to sort it out. Again, something in the environment has changed. Something has definitely changed. And it's not about good versus bad. It's just about what is it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like, I'm not trying to go down that road. Like, I'm not trying to judge it. Like, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I'm just like, I feel like at this part, I'm just trying to like dissect it. Like, what is it? Like, I need to see it for what it actually is. And does this make sense to me? Does this seems like this would hold water? That's the first part. Like, there are things in life clearly that are good. Some things that are clearly bad. This is like, I'm not even going to that part yet. I'm not trying to make that decision. I'm just like, I just want to see it for what it is. It's kind of like if there's a book on the table, I'm trying to like, okay, who wrote the book? What's the story about? How many pages are in it? Is it well written? Those type of facts. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to judge it like it's a good book, it's a bad book at this point yet. Even though like I'm questioning, is it well written in the sense of like, is there sentence structure? Are things spelled correctly? Like, are the facts are the facts actually the facts? Do the facts actually hold water? That type of thing. So the next part is adding in that next level. Now that I see what the facts are, is this good for me? Is this good for me? Do I want this? Can I be helpful to this situation? Is it good for me to be a part of it for me? Is it good for me to be a part of it for other people? Because we need to like, one or the other isn't good enough. If it's just good for me, I feel like that's an imbalance. I don't know if I like that. Ironically, I don't know if it's just good for me. I feel like Libra would be like, you know what? Yeah, maybe it's just good for me right now, but I don't know if I like that. I just don't feel like I can depend on that. I don't know if that's okay. Is it just good for me to be here for somebody else? I don't like that either. It needs to be both. It needs to be both good for me and good for the situation. You're trying to look at it that way. You're trying to be like, all right, let me really think about this. Either way, I feel like you're very well on board with like, there's going to be things that are good and things that are not so good going forward. After everything's said and done, everything shakes out, will even the stuff that wasn't so good turn out to be like a healing moment? You're trying to like get ahead of this, kind of like before I really get any deeper into this situation, or before I stay connected with this change that's happening. Is it going to work out for the majority of people in the long run? A lot of mental activity. Like, I know that Libra has a lot of mental activity anyway, but this seems like heavier than usual. This does seem heavier than usual. Like, do I really want to be a part of this? Because another reason this is heavier for you is I feel like the situation is kind of stuck in the moment. Even though it's changing and it will change, and I feel like you know that, the current energy is kind of stuck. There's kind of like considering, trying to figure out what's actually needing to happen, not moving with if I'm touching it, the Hanged Man is a non-moving energy. In my opinion, you can't stay in the Hanged Man energy forever. It has a certain amount of time. There's also this feeling disconnected energy, kind of like the way it's currently going, nothing's really changing, trying to figure things out, but like it's a disconnected energy. It's not good. It's not connecting to you as much as it needs to, or anybody else, for the most part, is what I'm getting. And you're currently not moving. You're also currently not moving with it, but it's because like I don't know what I want to do. I haven't really made up my mind yet. Your energy not moving forward is by choice, for good reason. Kind of like, yeah, I don't know what to do with this just yet, and I don't want to make a bad movement. I don't want to make a bad choice. So before I actually make a decision or move anywhere, make any type of movement forward, I need a little bit more time to like really figure out what I want from it, what I feel is right. This does feel kind of heavy again. It's more than usual. I keep feeling like it's more than usual. So what type of options do we have that are realistic? Because the reason this change is coming forward is that whoever you're dealing with, whatever you're dealing with, not enough of the situation is helping them thrive. They don't feel like this is right. Now, whatever change they're going into doesn't mean it's the best choice, but I do also feel at the same time that there does need to be change. You've probably heard information that you can't unhear. So it's almost like somebody there, maybe I'm trying to make this as benign as possible. Somebody has a job, maybe they've been an engineer for like 15 years or whatever. And they're like, I hate this job, I don't want to do this anymore. And they're like, I'm going to go back to school for, writing. And I think I want to be a writing teacher. And you're like, just to make it really easy, you're kind of like, oh, well, everything we have is here. I can see you doing that online, but we don't really live near that type of thing. Like, you could start doing that. It's going to change a lot. The engineer job afforded a certain lifestyle, which if you stop doing that, we're not going to have that lifestyle anymore. We're going to have to make some changes. We're probably going to have to move. There's a lot changing here. But it's also realizing that they don't like that job. So I'm making it really easy, but I feel like for whatever this situation is, I think it's a lot heavier than that. I don't think it's as easy as this, but still, I'm trying to make it as benign as possible. They've decided they're not going to be an engineer anymore. They hate it. They're not going to do it. So you're kind of like, well, maybe they're not going to be an engineer, but do we have to go back to school right now? Are there other options? Is this like, do we have other possibilities? Like, are there other options? Like, do they have to be a writing teacher? Maybe they need to explore a little bit more. Maybe there's some other options they want to do. Stuff like that. Okay. Whatever it is, because I'm trying to make it benign. It could be very complicated. You know what's going on more than I do, clearly. It's a general read. Change is going to happen. And I feel like it's them. They have to decide. It's more about your element to this is more like, how are you going to pull that energy forward? Because it's kind of like, technically you could try to help. It's not really helpful, but technically you could try to repress it. It's not going to help. It's going to just, it's going to pop up again, and it's going to be worse. Whatever this is, it's going to come forward. So repressing it isn't really realistic, in my opinion. The advice for this is kind of like, because I feel like the energy that I'm getting from Libra is like, no, I need the more truth to come out. I'm going to try to help keep it moving forward, but like, does it have to be going to the writing teacher, or are there other applications? Are there other things that could maybe work out? Maybe instead of being an engineer, could this person be a manager, like in the same company, and just they don't have to do the engineering anymore, but maybe they could help manage certain things, and would that be enough of a change? Stuff like that. I don't think we need to get too deep into that. There's not a lot of possibilities here. It may seem like it, but there's not. This person is breaking the restraints and breaking down old paradigms, is what I'm getting. So, the advice, I feel like this is your natural energy. This is the natural place you're going to start with. Let's just try to get them to talk more and get more of a scope of what they're dealing with. So I feel like this is the first step, kind of like, I'm just kind of try to get them to talk more so I can get more information. When this happens, you're going to have a need to try to help, which makes sense. It's not a bad thing, but they're saying this is a contrary energy to you, but this, whatever you hear from this person might shock you a little bit or kind of like alarm you. You might have knee-jerk reactions. So if you can, I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if this makes sense. Like, face-to-face conversations, I feel like that's normally what's going to happen here. But if you can do phone conversations with this person or texting conversations where you can literally have a reaction without them knowing, that might be easier. That might be more helpful to you and to them. If you live with this person, I feel like that might be awkward, but you are Libra. If you think that's for the best, you could find a way to kind of do that. Kind of like in a therapy way, we could do this so that we both have a time to like talk it out and think about what we're saying. You could find a way to make that work. I'm pretty confident. I'm getting if you could have a minute to like absorb what they're saying, have your natural reaction, and then come back to it, that would go better. If you're doing this face to face, I feel like there's a chance you might just have a reaction before you even realize it. This is a very harsh energy. This is a like, well, this is the truth of it energy. This is like, I know Libra likes truth, but this is more of a like, bam, this is what it is. Libra's more, you like to work things in. You like to kind of be more peaceful. Libra likes to be more peaceful. This energy is more warlike. That's not usually your energy, but this situation might shock you. So they're saying if you can have some distance between you and them, or at the very least do little conversations. If it has to be face to face and there's just no way around that, little conversations, like just little pieces, and let them know, like, let's just have little conversations, like set that up. I feel like you're good with that. You know how to make that happen. Little conversations, just little conversations. Going forward, for this to work out the easiest, if I dare, Ace of Cups energy, High Priestess energy. Again, stay in that energy. You do seem to care about this person. I don't see why you would end up even trying with this person if you didn't. You do, like, remind yourself that you do care about this person, whoever this is, to some extent. Promote this energy, kind of help it forward very slowly. So get them to talk. Give yourself a minute with small conversations. And then try to help them forward with whatever they've told you. Just little things. So, you know, this person that wants to be the writing teacher. And they're like, yeah, I didn't really want to do it online. I was thinking about going to this college, which is like an hour and a half away, but I'm thinking I could commute to that. Okay. Let's see, like, what type of availability they have, and, like, if there's any grants. Like, could there be any grants or any type of public assistance, or like some type of, like, what would, if we get loans so you could do that, what type of loans would that be? How much would that cost? Let's start there. Small movement forward. To me, that's a small movement. And then just tell them that's what I would look for, and then let them, maybe, well, I don't know, it depends on you. If you're like, well, I want to make sure the money's secure, so maybe you could see, like, are there grants? What would the loans be? You know, what could we do? How much would it cost? Stuff like that. You know, commuting one way an hour and a half, that could be, some people have no problem with that. Other people are like, that's a lot. I would be, that's a lot. Personally, like every day, like seriously. Also, like, I know some, like, I remember when I was in college a long time ago, there's some people that had all their courses on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so are those things options? Stuff like that. Slowly move forward, see where they're taking it, see how they feel about it. They might be like, all right, I found out, like, I have to do it this, or I could do it part-time and have a job. Maybe I could keep my job for now, even though I hate it, and I could do that part-time, and I could commute on these days. I might have to go down to my job part-time, though, blah, 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 blah. Slowly help them move it forward. Keep promoting it. Help them move forward in whatever direction. Like, help them do a little bit of the research. But, like, this is like I'll help, but you have to do the major part. I'll help you, but you have to do the major part. Help them keep it moving forward so you can find out what the truth is here, because you want the truth. You don't want to get just so far and then they're like, no, this is my direction. I have to go a different direction. You want them to keep doing the major part. You want them to find out where they actually want to be so you can actually find out where this is going to go. By doing it that way, you're going to it's changing the whole foundation of the situation by slowly moving it forward. Slow conversations, little conversations, slow movement. Little conversations, slow movement. Little conversation, slow movement. It will reconstitute the foundation. Once it's there, believe it or not, you will be getting along quite well with this person still. I feel like there might be a question in your mind if that's how this is going to really work. You still seem to be getting along with this person quite well. It might the relationship might change. It might be a different relationship than it currently is, but still getting along, still being on positive terms is very important to you is what I'm getting. But restructuring the foundation will definitely happen doing it this way. It also, when I say the foundation, I'm getting like through the change by going this direction, it is honestly what this person needs, whatever that is. That's why I'm saying foundation, like restructuring the foundation in the way that it's going to actually stay, settle, and that's where it's going to be from now on. Versus like trying to like, for example, if you wanted to like put it, like try to push it over where you wanted it to be versus where it's going, if that's different, for example, that's going to be a shaky foundation and that's not going to hold water. Like that's going to crumble. This is the way to get it to a place where it's actually going to stay and you can believe in it. And I'm getting you're going to have the support. The relationship may change, whatever it is you have with this person. Maybe a totally different relationship, but still a positive one. And they seem to always value you and always see you in a positive light and always look out for you for it. Keep that in mind. So I think the overall energy here is like small conversations, little movement forward. Small conversations, little movement forward. That seems to be the most important part of this. Okay, are we done? All right, I think we're there. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.